Hey, Buttes. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. This is an eyebrow tutorial. I do 3 eyebrows: everyday natural, everyday glam brows, and makeup brows. I'm going to show you how to do my makeup brows. These are my makeup brows. So I take the Dip Brow Pomade by Anastasia Beverly Hills and the color Ebony. You only need a little bit. If you think you only used a little bit, use less. And I create the shape by drawing the line of my eyebrow, as you saw, at the bottom. And then I accentuate my arch at the top and create the rest of my tail. I use the most pigment at the end of the brow and the middle of the brow, and then I drag the rest from the front of the brow. As you can see, it gives like a gradient kind of ombre effect. You don't want a stark, harsh eyebrow. You want the colors to blend from light to darkest, from the front to the end. And that's what I'm doing here. I like to clean up my brows with a spoolie if I need to, and that looks absolutely perfect. I do it on both sides, and then I'm gonna go in with the spoolie again to comb through the eyebrow hairs so that the pomade and the eyebrow hairs blend together. Again, you don't want your eyebrows to be super harsh looking. That's not what we're going for. To clean up the shape of my brows and to prepare to put eyeshadow on, because this is my makeup brow, I grab some concealer. This is Chai by Too Faced, the Born This Way concealer. I put the concealer on my eyelids, but I also drag it up to the top. Now, I put concealer on my eyelids to give my eyes a clear base, or just a nice base to put the eyeshadows on, because I use a lot of color and I like to make them pop. But I also drag them up to the top so that I can I can carve out the shape of my eyebrow from the bottom. You create your eyebrow shape from the bottom. So I'm just gonna I'll show you in more detail in a second, but I usually just take a little bit of concealer on the tip of my concealer brush. I use a concealer brush that has a round point to it, not a sharp triangle point, but a round point to it. Some people use like the flat brush, and that's cool too. Use whatever tool you're most comfortable with. And I dip just a little bit, or I dip my concealer into the bottle just a little bit, just to pick up a tiny bit. And then I shape out the bottom of my eyebrows with that concealer. I used to think that you would create your eyebrow shape with the top of your eyebrow when you use the foundation. You'll see that a little later, but you do not. You'll actually end up making your eyebrows thinner and flat, potentially short and shapeless. You carve out the bottom to get the shape that you want for your eyebrow. And again, only needed a little bit just to do that. And you drag the excess eyebrow concealer down to the eye so that it all blends together. And you see how clean and sharp that eyebrow looks now versus before. And again, if you want a more natural everyday brow, you can skip this step, but I like to do this to clean up that eyebrow and just sharpen up the look of it. Just look at the difference between the two. I really like the way that looks, and this is just me showing y'all how very little you need. There's no point of even pulling out a doe foot and putting it underneath my eyebrow, because it would just be too much. I like to use concealers that are either the same shade as me or maybe a shade lighter when it comes to under my brows. I use a shade lighter when I'm doing like glam makeup looks, because I do like the look of that highlighted brow bone. But if you like the 2 or 3, shades lighter look, do what you like best. I also set the concealer on my eyes so that my eyeshadow blends easier, and so that the creases in my eyes don't pick up all the concealer and make it fold. And I put powder in my eyebrows because pomade can tend to be a little shiny, in my opinion. So I put the powder on top of the brows to eliminate that shine. And as everything blends together, you'll see later, it doesn't look shiny at all. I also take some foundation across the top of my eyebrows so that I don't get halo brows. I cannot stand that bright light look on top of your eyebrow. Everything blends together seamlessly with the foundation that I put on when I do my makeup. The code word is lip gloss. And thank you so much for liking, commenting, following, and sharing. Mwah.